have a go at this. This is the black lemur. Going one-on-one with lemurs like this is the ultimate. If nothing else, it stimulates passion and enthusiasm and love for the most unique of the primate species, found nowhere else in the world, the Malagasy lemurs. 32 species of lemurs, the world's most mysterious primates, are clinging to a gravely endangered existence. Millions of years ago, this chunk of land broke away from the continent of Africa, and so evolved these incredible animals. This is the land where I hope to live with lemurs. Weird animals on an isolated island, and one of our strangest adventures. It's almost like a bicycle is a time machine, cycling back into the past to experience a way of life that hasn't changed much in about 1,000 years or more. Some days, everyone in the country seems to be on the move, covering huge distances on foot. On an aging bike, in a place like this, I'm considered a high-speed traveller. Woo, look out, here I come! This push is going to be great to get in close to the lemurs, and I'll be able to traverse the island close to the grassroots level. How's the way these ladies carry this stuff on their head? Fully loaded, and they just balance it right up there.
14 million crowded Madagascans have barely started to emerge into the modern world. An even longer isolation in the natural world has seen the evolution of irreplaceable environments populated by exceptional species. And among the lemurs, we're searching for the biggest, the smallest, the loudest, and the most bizarre. Madagascar is the world's fourth largest island. The lemurs are barely surviving in a shrinking habitat, and we're starting our adventure in one isolated pocket in the far south.
This is a combination of zebu, which are the cows, nice long horns. Right in front of me here, get out of the way you guys, some goats. Look out, I'm coming through there. Ducking and weaving through zebu and goats. And then I spot my very first lemur. And I don't know who got more of a surprise. Look out, I'm from Australia.
Steve's first lemur and the lemur's first Australian. Gee, he was impressed by those shorts. Unfortunately, we're only going to discover lemurs in a few places throughout the entire country. Here's where the bike comes into its own, almost silently taking us into the heartland of several lemur species, including one called the shifaka.
This gallery forest is home to a plethora of lemur species, both nocturnal and diurnal. They really enjoy the shade and yet the open areas in amongst this leaf litter so as they can forage for all the fruits that fall on the ground. Seasonally, the place comes alive with flowers. There's all sorts of leaves, over 20 different species that the savakas can feed on. It's a great place for lemurs.
Steve's heading for a close encounter with an incredibly acrobatic species.
Savakas. Oh my word, they're cute. There's a whole family here.
A shifaka family group can include up to 12 individuals, and like many lemur species, it's the females who dominate the troop. They spend most of the day feeding on leaves, fruit, and flowers, unless they happen to be resting.
A little bit sleepy. Look, over here, this one's got a baby. How's that? She's got a baby clinging to her back. So with the savakas, after a couple of months, the baby will come from the belly onto the back because it's too hard for the mama to carry it. Too much weight. And so that little baby would have only just made the transition from the belly to the back.
The troops that live close to pathways are used to seeing humans, and by moving slowly and quietly, Steve is allowed to approach. If he does anything that could be interpreted as a threat, they have the speed to be hundreds of yards away in a matter of seconds.
They've got incredibly dexterous fingers and hands. They're able to grab hold of the branches, pull them in, and pick off the succulent leaves. You know, this is incredible. So we got, I don't know, a dozen shavakas there, cruising around. Beautiful little family unit. Now look at this. Look at the ringtail right here.
In some areas, the ranges of different species overlap, but a lemur family group can turn aggressive to defend a home territory with its limited food supply. Shavakas, like all lemurs, are primates, first cousins to monkeys, apes, and even humans. And what Steve wants most of all is to meet one of them on their own terms, one-on-one.
How's that? The shavakas are quite adept at using vertical branches, cling, and just spring and pushing off. And they can hit lengths of over 20 feet.
They almost always travel upright, head held high as they leap from one vertical branch to the next. Those spindly branches may be okay for the weight of lemurs, but not for you, Steve. The lemurs seem to find it entertaining. They could easily disperse and leave Steve perched alone in the trees. However, they stay near enough to watch, but always out of reach. Compared with the graceful lemurs, Steve looks incredibly clumsy. But the more he moves around in the trees, the more the lemurs are accepting his presence. Gradually, they recognize he means them no harm, and little by little, Steve edges closer to these delightful creatures, until at last, he's as close as anyone could be without actually touching them.
Way up here in the canopy, it's easy to be at one with them, and they seem to really relate to me. I don't think they've seen too many blokes up in the trees sharing territory. And this one is so intent on eating the berries. I see you, Savaka. I see you. Isn't he gorgeous? Munch, munch, munch. They've got a great set of teeth. And look at those back legs. Really long.
Whoa, no effort at all. Gone. Back into the canopy. Meanwhile, I'll be down on a shaky limb for about as long as I can risk it. The branches I'm using are getting thinner and thinner, and there's nowhere else to go but down.
Life in the trees isn't that easy. I'm just not that good at primate. I'm a little more terrestrial.
Well, I might not be that good at leaping from tree to tree, but at least I've got the head wobble right. We're communicating. This bloke can't quite work out that weird Australian's head wobble.
Madagascar is a treasure house of plant and animal species found nowhere else on Earth. Steve's always on the lookout for wildlife wherever we travel. On the bike, he can see animals he'd miss from a car, and he can react so much more quickly.
Got him. Steady, mate. Steady. I got no idea of knowing whether this snake is venomous or not. What a glorious coloration. Gunmetal grey. And it's got a real spear-like head. Diurnal eyes. Might be a colubrid, a harmless species. Then again, it might be rear-fanged and venomous. Have a look at it. It's obviously a frog eater, a constrictor. Grab its food, constrict it, and swallow it down, probably alive. Very little is known about Madagascar's rare, endangered, vulnerable species species of snakes, lizards and frogs. The more common, like the boas and some of the common chameleons, there's a fair amount known about them. But this snake hasn't even got a common name. Here you go, mate. Here you go.
Wow, check out the speed he can swim with.
The brown lemur can be hard to spot, and this one seems appalled that Steve's actually seen him. Those long, bushy tails help them keep their balance high in the trees. Unlike monkeys, none of the lemurs developed a prehensile tail to help them grip the branches.
These brown lemurs are quite common throughout the Gallery forest, and they have got the best arboreal skills. They will come down onto the ground to forage, but they love hanging around in the trees. They're classified as strictly arboreal. Here she goes, keeping her eyes on me, like looking right at me, just making sure that I'm no danger. She's beautiful.
And once again, Steve can't resist joining them up in their home environment.
There must be about 25, maybe 30 of them in the trees, just leaping and jumping all the way around me. It's interesting, as I climb, they just stay at a safe distance. See behind me here? It's a little female, look at her. Oh, this one over here's got babies.
It's unusual to see this many brown lemurs together. You rarely see more than 12, and a troop this big needs 50 acres of forest to survive.
Oh, here's a spiny back chameleon. And it's a male, adult male. You're a big boy, and look at him. Black as. He's really dark. Hey, you're blending in nicely. Extremely dark, and have a look at that beautiful light-coloured patch he's got along his side there. Hang on, mate. Hang on, buddy. You're all right. Hang on. Hey, no biting. I see you're going to bite me. I see you. I see you're very bitey. He's going to bite. He's got his mouth wide open. Isn't he dark? And look at that gorgeous light colour that goes down. He's got his little prehensile tail. And I don't know who's got who at the moment, but he's a little bit grumpy. Hey, you're all right, buddy. Oh, you're going to bite. I see that. Okay, okay. Here you go. There you go. Look at the way he blends into that stick. Oh, gosh, you've got to love those spiny backs.
Check that swaying motion. He's pretending to be a branch moving in the wind while creeping up on his next meal. Back on the trail, and we're in the right territory to find some subspecies of the brown lemur.
Oh, red-fronted lemurs, look. Have a look at that little beauty. Listen to the way they grunt. The brown lemur are more widespread than any of the other true lemur species. And there's about 6 different subspecies, maybe more. The other thing with the brown lemurs is their social structure. They don't actually have that female hierarchy, that matriarchal system. And you'll get a combination of boys and girls. So we've got a boy, a girl, and look at this girl. Oh no, you're a boy. Here's a boy here. You're a naughty boy one. And they got those gorgeous bushy long tails. Hey, the old brown lemur.
Among the few times they risk leaving the safety of the trees is to gather food from low-growing plants.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Here you go. Here's some flowers. Here's some flowers, look. She just grabs a handful, hoovers them down, leaves flowers the whole lot. See the baby? How's the way the baby is watching her mama intently? Here. Look, little baby. Look, little baby. Here you go.
Why bother with secondhand flowers when there are plenty of fresh ones growing everywhere. When the first humans arrived on Madagascar, they found an incredible biodiversity of plants and animals. Less than 10% of the forests now remain, and we have to move deeper into them to find more of this land's unique species. Bats. And Madagascar has several species found nowhere else on Earth, including these guys. Bats are a vital link in spreading seeds and pollen for many of the island's rare species of flowering plants.
These are the Malagasy fruit bat or flying foxes, and this colony is roosting here in these giant tamarind trees in the gallery forest during the course of the day, and then at night they'll spread out just on dark and go and hunt fruit. That's their main or their staple food source is fruits and flowers, and right up and down this river system is chock-a-block with good tucker. They have an absolutely incredible sense of smell. They can smell a ripe fruit or trees in blossoms from over a mile away.
And not far from the fruit bats, we move into the home range of a lemur that I think has the cutest, most mischievous character of them all, the ring-tailed, named for a very obvious feature.
This is too male. We might just sit here and have a bit of a sunbake, I think. What do you reckon? Bit of a sunbake? Very nice. Very comfy. Hey boys, where are you going?
All lemurs are classed as arboreal. They live their life in the trees, but all of them spend time on the ground, some more than others.
Hey sweetheart. Hey girl.
Of all the species, the ring-tailed lemur is the most terrestrial. They spend almost half their time foraging and moving on the forest floor.
Oh look, let's just slide across this way. I'd really like to show you. See, there's a whole troop here now. I'm just going to lower my profile a bit. You all right? Have you girls got your babies? See the way they cling to their mama's back? And you can see that little baby there picks up a piece of bark. It's starting to gain its independence, starting to learn how to forage, hunt and eat for itself. And the whole troop stays close. Let's just go around this way. Watch out for the sun worshipper behind me here. I see you're sun worshipping. Interesting little troop here. You can see how the babies, the real little ones, are flipping through the trees. So both the mama and the aunts will look after the juveniles, the infants, the babies. And they're really active, you know. They're learning their arboreal skills, jumping and flipping around, and they're really getting quite agile.
While they're mainly vegetarian, ring-tailed lemurs will occasionally hunt and eat insects or other small prey. Today's menu is fallen fruit, and they're happily sharing this part of the forest and the windfall with other lemur species.
So you can see the combination of the two species foraging, and it's because this huge ficus, this huge fig tree, is dropping all these fruits. And it makes for great foraging. You guys want some figs? Here you go.
Now that Steve spent quite some time behaving like a lemur and foraging in the leaf litter, he seems to have gained their trust, and they come closer to him than ever before, even accepting food straight from his hand.
Hi. The ring-tailed lemurs have got a real matriarchal system. So you can see these two females here with their babies. They call the shots. In fact, this one that's closest to me, she is the matriarch. She is the alpha female. She's coming over here checking me out. They've got an incredible sense of smell. And when you get this close, you can see their shiny nose. It's wet. So that moist nose means they've got a really good sense of smell. Oh, you've got some berries there. You boys are a bit naughty, I think. See the way they stick their tails straight up? Beautiful visual signal. And you can see this troop consists of about 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 adults and a whole stack of babies and juveniles.
Ring-tailed lemurs give birth once a year in early spring. Usually it's just one baby, but when food is plentiful, twins are fairly common. In lemur society, there's nothing more important than grooming. They establish and reinforce social bonds by giving each other personal attention. Lemurs have 6 lower teeth that stick out from their jaw to form a structure that they use to comb each other's fur.
Isn't that gorgeous? The way they groom each other, licking, chewing with their teeth. They really do love all over each other. And it's that time of the day where you have a good groom, and they'll actually groom each other. Look at that. Under my arm needs licking too.
When a female is born into a group, she stays with it for the rest of her life. Males, they move around a bit, and that's good for the species. It helps prevent inbreeding.
Wah! 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 Wah!
I've spent so much time with the troop that I'm almost an honorary member. If only I had a striped tail and I could whack it up, they'd know exactly who I was.
We're on the move. And away we go. Come on then. See the way they put their tails straight up. Now they're on the move. You can see the 2 matriarchs up the front. Call on the shots. Here we go.
It's taken quite a lot of hard yakka, but what an honour to be accepted as one of the troop. And it's now that I'm moving in with them that I can get a better understanding of what they're looking at, what they're searching for, and their senses.
Time for a bit of play.
It's obvious the family bond among lemurs is exceptionally strong. In this group, there's a dozen individuals, and troops can have as many as 25 or more.
See those little mock fights they have? Look. That's just playing.
It's exactly the same as us. When we were kids, we used to play around like this, swinging in the trees, fight with each other, running around like rat bags. The lemurs are no different. Crikey, they have a great time. And the youngsters, it's all a part of growing up. Woo, look at them go. Flat out like a lizard drinking.
And you can see the way they're cruising around the tree, pushing their shoulders into the branch. And look at this one. See how he's using his wrists into the branch? They've got like spurs, scent glands on their shoulders and their wrists. And they'll gouge into the tree, gouging the scent right in. When you're a lemur, scent is everything. Listen. That's the predator alarm.
The ring-tailed lemur is one of the most vocal primates of all.
They're not happy, they're really alarmed. They're looking down there.
Steve can't spot it, but the lemurs can clearly see the threat.
Look, they're looking down here. What is it, a snake? Snake or something? Oh, got it. There, look, it's a cat. Look, there it goes.
And they don't like it. They're very alarmed. Lemurs have got different alarm calls for different animals that threaten them. And they don't like that cat, and until it moves off, they're all on alarm, they're all on standby, ready to bolt.
I don't know how long these tyres are going to last. Got a few leaks and a few bulges. So far, so good. Oh, Struth, I just love those ringtail lemurs and the shavakas. You gotta love them. Well, I'm heading for the spiny, dry forest to find the smallest lemur in the world. Baobab tree, thousands of years old. Have a look at the size of this. One steamer looking chunk of flora.
The African mainland also has baobab trees, but Madagascar has thousands of other plant species found nowhere else. As these unique environments evolved, animals that are adapted to survive with them developed at the same time. You'll find semi-arid country like this on every continent on Earth, but nowhere else will you find an amazing mix of plants and animals like this one.
This forest type bites, and it's called a spiny forest for good reason. Every single place that you step, stand, or bump into has spikes. Even these little bushes are super spiky. The Diria forest, unique to Madagascar. Sparking. If you can imagine, they can jump right across this Diria bush, this dry, spiny forest, without hurting themselves, without suffering incredible injuries. Crikey, I don't know how they do it. They've got pads on their hands, very dexterous fingers, so they can grip and hang on, just choo, 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 jump straight across. Oh! Did you see that? They can jump straight across. Have a look at this. Have a look how spiky these things are. And they can just grip, pull, push off, and go to the next vertical.
They are perfectly at home with all the spikes. Naturalists and scientists have no idea how the lemurs survive the experience. But other animals in the spiny forest carry all the right equipment for the environment.
Have a look at this. Radiated tortoise. This is an endangered species. And look at this. It's a male and a female. You can see she smells really, really good. He keeps pushing right at her bottom. He's trying to mount her, trying to get up on top of her. What are you doing, mate? There's 4 species of tortoises found on Madagascar. And down in the south, these are quite common. You can see they've got a beak-like mouth. They're herbivores. Although this bloke looks like he might want to eat my finger, eat a bit of meat. They're pretty well opportunistic. They've got stumped elephant-like feet. They're a land tortoise. They don't go in the water. Oh, look, 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 look. Got a really pink, fleshy tongue. And they'll bite with their beak and then push the food down with that fleshy tongue.
On the fringes of the spiny forest, it looks like prime reptile country, and Steve has a sixth sense with reptiles. If there are any here at all, he'll find them, no matter how well they're hidden.
Check this out. Come on, mate. Come on now. Oh, look at this. It's a ground boa, a Demeryl's ground boa. And have a look at that forked tongue going out there. Look at the coloration. As per usual, the boa matches his environment perfectly. Oh, you're not coming out. He's got his tail hooked back in those rocks. They love to eat rodents. And even small lemurs if they can get hold of them. Anything comes down on the ground, they'll sit, strike position, whack, grab it, constrict, squeeze until it dies, then swallow it down whole. This spiny forest is totally alive with reptiles.
We expect to find snakes here, but in daylight, Steve's next discovery is a rarity.
It's a mouse lemur. The mouse and dwarf lemurs are the smallest of all lemurs, and they go into these vine thickets in this Didiria forest to take cover during the day, or they'll go inside hollows. They're primarily nocturnal, and they've got to stay in this thicket until night time before they can come out and forage, otherwise they get picked off by a bird of prey. Even at night they're not safe. Oh look! Here he is, look at him! What a classic chunk of evolution! To think that the lemurs, a primate species, is this big! Looks like a pair, there's two of them. This is the breeding season, the peak of the breeding season. So the male and female have come together. Woo, you never know what they'll be up to tonight. Gorgeous! What a bizarre forest type. I can't wait to come back here and take a look at some of these lemurs at night.
But before that, there's a transport problem we have to handle. The bicycle's taken a real pounding on the rough tracks and off-road riding in some rugged country. It's been plaguing us with breakdowns for days, and Steve has to divert to the nearest village for repairs.
Had a blowout. These marketplaces are great. Chock-a-block full of people, all sorts of gear. I reckon you could buy just about anything.
Even with a few repairs, this isn't getting me anywhere. It's time to trade up to a later model of push bike.
Thank you very much.
Something from the 1950s. Travelling through Madagascar is like taking a step back in time. It feels like I'm way back in the 1800s. Yeah, that's right. I'm the Crocodile Hunter.
Everywhere Steve goes, he attracts attention. It's gotta be those shorts.
Oh, wow. Geez, I probably saved his life. Might have got run over. It looks like a colubrid. You know, I couldn't even tell you what species of snake this is. I've got no idea. It's got that beautiful dark coloration, and look at those lateral bands that go down in its entire body. I reckon that it's a colubrid. Probably hasn't got any venom, frog eater, maybe little lizards, maybe even chameleons. You're lucky you didn't get run over, mate. Whoa. I'm just going to let him go down here. He can slip down. Get off the road, dummy. Quick now, you stay off the road.
Back to me pushy, and it's easy travelling downhill with a bit of wind. These kids, they're just checking me out going, who the heck is this bloke? I reckon they're pretty happy to see me. Gosh, that warms your heart. Kids just having a stack of fun. And I'm still on target to make it back to the spiny forest in time to set up for spotlighting. Who knows what's going to emerge after dark?
Sunset marks the changing of the guard. As daytime switches to night, so do the animals. The diurnal animals go to sleep as the nocturnal animals come awake and start to go into the forage mode, looking for a feed, hang out with their mates. And I've got the equipment, this low intensity head torch. It won't affect the lemur's nocturnal vision. Have a look at these Didiria, these spiny plants sticking up like sentinels.
At night, you need to be really careful in the forest Because it's full of spikes, prickles, thorns. Virtually anything that could stab you will.
Oh, have a look at this. Hey, little hedgehog. Hey, little hedgehog. Have a look at this. You're all right, little hedgehog. It's a little hedgehog. Have a look at this. What a little ripper. You're all right, little hedgehog. Now, the hedgehog is quite common through this spiny forest. You can see he hasn't got a whole stack of hair on his head, but he's got those whiskers. So he can feel around with those whiskers just like a cat. They've got cute little ears, long nose to locate their food, and have a look at the hair on his back. Really coarse, like bristles. He's got little short feet. His bottom's pushing right into my finger. Look at him curled around my finger like that. Isn't it? Oh, you're all right. You're all right, little hedgehog. This is the first hedgehog I've ever seen in my entire life. What a score. What a little beauty. The hedgehog's quite common down here in the southern part of Madagascar, particularly in this spiny forest. It's a real shame there's not much of this forest left. It's all been destroyed. Otherwise there'd be a stack of these. And he's got a little soft belly. Can we see your belly? There's his little tummy. And he curls his bottom up. A hedgehog, you ripper. Oh man, that's cute. Look at that. Little hedgehog. Little hedgehog. Hey, isn't he darling? Come on, mate. We'll let him go. Oh, look, he's coming out of his ball. He goes, wow, this is where I live, down here on the ground. There you go. Quick, quick, quick. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, Spider. Just needed to slow down a minute to try and show you the fangs. But she's not slowing down. Come on. You're all right, you're all right. Show us your fangs. Slowing down, slowing down. Here she comes. Slow down now. Slow down now. You can see right at the front of her head those huge, big, shiny black fangs. Hang on. See the way she's gearing up there? She's going to stab me. Time to go down. You're all right, sweetheart. Down you go. Down you go. Quick. You're all right. She was warming up, ready to drive those big shiny fangs right into my hand. And I got no way of knowing how toxic or how much venom she's got. So you can be guaranteed you'd be in a bit of trouble. These things are known as the tigers of the insect world. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Whoa, look at this. Whoa, look at this. Centipede. Right up the front of that head behind those antennae are a great set of chompers, and they've got quite a powerful sting. It burns like fury. I do not want to get tagged. Centipedes haven't got 100 legs, but by crikey, they got a whole lot of them, and they move around, and when they get irate, they cruise like a snake. They get out of control. Have a look at this head. Wild-looking unit, and he's out cruising, looking for insects. Anything he finds, whack, jams those fangs in, envenomates, and then eat it down. Tiger of the insect world, the centipede.
Steve's really gonna luck out and find one of the daytime predators fast asleep.
Excellent. So this is what the spiny-backed chameleon does at night. He gets his little feet, grips hold of the branch, holds it in tight to his body, and hugs it with all 4 feet, claws hooked in. And he's got his eyes slammed shut. He's dead to the world. Oh, whoops. Better go, woke him up.
Nah, he'll just drift back to sleep. Steve's next find was hard to spot and a real piece of luck.
Sporty! It's a sportive lemur. Yeah, sportive lemurs are a medium-sized lemur. Look at him, he's tucked in amongst those branches, trying to get away from the wind. Being an arboreal species, this wind knocks you around. It's really hard to get a feed. The sportive lemur will even eat these leaves off the dideria and the euphorbia trees, and they're not very succulent, very low in nutrients and energy, which means the sportive lemur has to be very inactive throughout its life just to survive.
The next day, we leave the semi-arid spiny forest for the last time. Steve's now cycling towards some of the last remaining habitat for one of the most wonderful animal species on the face of the planet. And there are so few of them left to see.
Here on the central east coast of the island are a couple of fragmented chunks of rainforest. You can see these hills around me are pretty well denuded. There's not much left. The habitat destruction is intense. But right up there, in that saddle, is one of those chunks of rainforest. And it's home to the largest lemur of them all. Look out, you guys!
The Indri is a lemur that lives only in the rainforest at eastern Madagascar, and we'll hear them long before we see one. That's how we're going to find them. We'll follow their eerie calls until we're right below them.
So they're just starting to sound off now. Every morning of their lives, they get very vocal and they sing.
Indris live in family groups of 3 to 5, an adult pair and their children. When the babies reach maturity, they move on to start their own family.
There's one there. Looks like he's on his own. He's having a feed of leaves. The Indri is a vegetarian, strictly herbivore. And they eat a lot of leaves at certain times of the year. On a daily basis, they'll consume 15 different species of leaves. And they go for the young ones. They don't like these dried out old mature leaves.
They move around feeding like this only during the day. Come sunset, they sleep in the trees.
Look at this, hand over hand.
Unlike other lemurs, Indris don't have long tails to help them balance. They rely on climbing strength as much as leaping.
Now you can see those legs. Look how long they are. And muscular, very strong. They're almost like coiled springs which enable them to spring straight off a vertical branch. And her toes are gripped to that branch. She's reaching out with her arms. How's that? Oh man, they're just beautiful. You know, what comes with being the largest of the lemurs is longevity. They live up and over 20 years of age. However, the offspring usually take about 4 months before they come off the mummy's belly and onto her back and then travel through the canopy. And the baby will actually stay with the mama and the dad for at least 2 years. And they don't reach sexual maturity for up to 9 years. This is how the Indri determine their territory. Each of the family groups will call. They have around about 7 acres or more in a territory, and they're ensuring that the other families, the other groups know, I'm here, I'm in my territory, I'm loud, and it's funny, the biggest of the lemurs has got the loudest of the calls. He's this duo.
The survival of the delightful injuries depends entirely on how well they do in the wild. They just don't live long in captivity.
Have a look at this. You can see the red leaves. They're brand newies. And that's their preferred feed. Have a look at that beautiful black coloration. Got like a white crown on its head.
Before humans arrived on Madagascar, there were even larger lemurs than these. Some were as big as gorillas, others the size of orangutans.
Really alert. You can see her ears, eyes, nose, all at the front of the head, ears facing towards the front. Very alert. As an adult, hasn't got any predators. As a youngster, got eagles, mongoose, civets, fossa, and of course the greatest predator, humans. How's those eyes? Look at her eyes. Gee, it's a shame that Madagascar's copping such a flogging from habitat destruction. It's pushing most of the lemurs to the brink. In fact, the injury is an endangered species. It's in a lot of trouble. And these small pockets of rainforest are getting hammered really quickly.
There aren't many injuries left, and sadly, the numbers are shrinking. We're heading now to the far north of Madagascar and one of the small islands of the western coast. The only way to reach one of the few surviving colonies of black lemurs is by boat. There's a small island community that depends on income from visitors who want to see these increasingly rare animals. What we find is a sad story of the state this endangered species has reached.
I love the kids.
The people here don't have much. They're grateful for the money visitors pay to see and touch the lemurs who have been integrated into village life. The survival of these lemurs depends on the villagers as much as the villagers depend on them to eke out a living.
You guys are a little bit hungry, are you? You guys are a little bit hungry. These are black lemurs. The females are that tan colour and the males are black, jet black. So here's two boys here and this is a female here. Oh, here's a little baby up here. So this is an isolated island off the main island of Madagascar. And their habitat, which is a wet gallery forest, has virtually been destroyed. And so now what we've got is a situation where the village people, the local people, have got these animals habituated to humans coming here, tourists coming here, and feeding them bananas. Who else wants a banana? It's a bit of a catch-22. Considering that their habitat's been destroyed, is this the solution? Who knows? I wouldn't have any idea. Oh, you've got a baby. You can have a whole banana then. You can have the skin. Eat the skin and all, do yous? Aren't they gorgeous? Hey, no clawing. The clawing, the biting, that's the downside of being habituated to getting food as soon as people get here. So there is an ugly side to this. But what you're seeing here is a population of black lemurs which are flourishing. Without getting fed bananas, all of these black lemurs would die out. No doubt about it. They're an isolated population on an isolated island. They've got no way of getting back to the mainland, and there's nothing for them on the mainland anyway. Absolutely nothing. Oh, have a look at this girl. Hey, girl. This is the female. And she's tearing into that banana. Easy to tell the males from the females. The females are really cute. Look at her white fluffy ears, gorgeous big eyes, and that tan coloration. Real red tinge to it. Isn't she a glamour girl? Have a look at her. Oh, sweetheart. And Fluffy, crikey, they're Fluffy. Look at her little hands, the way she uses her hands to grip the banana. They got a strong grip, by crikey. Are you looking around at them boys? Are you looking around at those boys? They're naughty boys. There he goes. Here he is. Hey, girl. Hey, sweetheart. I got more. Oh, you've only got one eye too. Come on, then. This female's only got one eye too. I wonder what this one eye problem is. Here she is. See how she's blind in one eye? This eye over here. Very unfortunate. Have a look around me. Have a look over here. You can see their habitat has virtually been altered to the max. And the habitat destruction we shouldn't blame on the local peoples. Traditionally, they're just trying to live, trying to exist, trying to do their own thing. Way you go. Come on, boy. You can see this male here. Notice his eye is just starting to go. I wonder if this is a genetic problem, because this is such a small population and they're virtually forced to live here in this village, and so we might be getting an inbreeding genetic problem which will take place in virtually all of our wild kingdom if you don't have a good, clean gene pool. And maybe that's what's happening. There you go, then. Up.
Lemurs are the most gravely endangered group of primates in the world. Every species could end up extinct in a very short time. There is just one place on Earth where nature has produced lemurs, Madagascar, and the habitats of these wonderful creatures are disappearing fast.
Crikey, I'm really concerned about the future of lemurs. It's a worry. It's a real worry. I don't think this is the solution either. I tell you what, my heart is this big. If nothing else, it's going to make me and all of these other people that come here try so much harder to save these animals. Going one-on-one. It's beautiful, it really is.
Time is running out for the last primates of Madagascar.